don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. And I don't know how that ended. I don't know how. I don't know what happened next. I don't understand this.
Supreme victory!
Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. So I had a video that I made the other day, and I was just going hard in the paint on that Roe v. Wade stuff. But then I caught myself thinking, like, what am I doing? I just said recently that I want to focus on lighthearted stuff, just focus on comedy and having a good time, just that type of commentary. And that was the antithesis of that. So I thought, well, I want to talk about Amber Heard and the trial and stuff, because I briefly mentioned it in a video before, but I didn't really go through any of the stuff that's going on. And as the title suggests, Amber Heard's has taken the stand, and she's doing what everybody kind of expected. She's just making a spectacle and wasting people's time. That being said, let's get into the court stuff. So is anybody expecting Amber Heard to come out looking good with this trial moving forward? I wonder if there's anybody that thought, like, oh, this is going to be her chance to really show what's been going on, and she's going to redeem herself, and she's going to make a fool out of Johnny Depp. And I mean, God bless you if you thought that, because just from the get-go, man, it's just been so just one-sided and so obvious what's going on. And like I said in my previous video, it's just been kind of gross that it's even gotten this far, because, and it's only because the Hollywood is pretending, since like 2017, 2018, Hollywood started to pretend to care about women, right? So now they're just overcompensating to be like, oh, we've always cared. Look at how much we're protecting women now. With Amber Heard, her being a clear-cut abuser with just evidence, and still being able to keep her job and still being able to do, meanwhile, she's the one that just wrote an op-ed, and then Johnny Depp is just, boom, loses Fantastic Beasts, loses Pirates. I mean, so you got to see the overcorrection, and just it's ridiculous, right? So guys, I need to give you a cringe warning. Cringe warning, seriously. If you haven't seen this yet, it's a little hard to watch if you don't like secondhand embarrassment, because this is bad. This is really bad.
Because, God, did he just hit me? No, I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with. I know you don't come back from that, not...
Jesus, man. Like, look at her. Look at her face. Like, that's a try-hard face, what you call. That's when you look in the mirror and you try to look distressed, and you're like, okay, I think I'm nailing it. I wish I could see a mirror right now, but I have to just believe that I'm nailing it right now. So here's something else that I haven't seen, but it's another breakdown, so let's go do this together, shall we?
Shortly after this trip, so we took this trip to promote his movie. I went with him. We got in an argument in the hotel room.
Naturally.
And I said, I don't remember what I said to him, but I said something snotty to him.
Naturally, you probably said something very provoking.
That provoked him. It provoked him. And when I walked into the hallway, he grabbed me by the arm and slammed me up against the hallway wall. And
Johnny Depp is violent.
I kind of struggled with him, tried to push him off of me, and I managed to get out of his grasp.
I guarantee you, she's describing what she did to him. I would put all my money on this.
Enough to take a few steps, and I kind of curved around and went into the closet. And by the time I made it into the closet, he had me by the hair and
just grabbed. He just one of that classic Jack Sparrow hair grabbing stuff.
What felt like he was just wailing on me, but in a really sloppy way, like hitting the back of my head and kind of wrestled me down to the floor.
Let's hear her out still.
I mean, it felt to me like I didn't even have a fair shot because I wasn't facing him or looking at him. I was walking away from him.
Now, look, why this doesn't seem plausible at all is because of the recording that of her explaining like that Johnny Depp's a pussy essentially because she was hitting him, not punching him. And she does not sound like the type of person that would put up with whatever she just described. Like, oh, she was just helpless. Oh, he was just grabbing and sloppily hitting the back of my head. Like, that does not sound like the type of Amber Heard that we've all heard. Haha, heard. But, like, it doesn't seem to add up, and I feel like, ugh, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe you gotta go with something better. You gotta go with something better that this isn't the trump card. Like it's not a bad idea. I mean, it is a bad idea. It's a bad idea, but she's full of them. So what do you expect?
Or else, you know, I would have at this point even like I would have tried to defend myself more, but I didn't. I kind of felt like it didn't see it coming, and he just wrestled me down to the ground. And I remember he was screaming at me. I mean, like, really screaming.
I want to hear Johnny Depp scream, because that's one thing, like, even in his movies, like, when he raises his voice, it still feels like he's not screaming.
Loud. And what I remember of that is trying to get up and him kind of wrestling me back down, and at one point, put his knee on my back.
Uh-oh.
It was kind of like kneeling on my back. And I just had this like struggle with him. And I look at him and he's still got his glasses on.
He's staying looking cool. With all the struggle, he stays looking cool with his glasses on. I think that's what she's trying to say.
I just remember looking at him and thinking that was so... I mean, he just looked like
so
he
stylish.
hadn't been through anything. You know, he still had his glasses on.
Stylish.
Sunglasses. And he was screaming at me that he hated me, that it was over, he didn't want to marry me. He was disgusted. He was disgusted. He made this mistake. It was a big mistake.
I think a lot of this stuff, what she's describing, is true. I bet the kneeing thing probably even happened after she attacked him, though. I imagine that's what happened. Like, he responded to her assault and then tried to subdue her. Because I imagine that part was real. In the way that she was telling it, it didn't sound fake, you know? And so it's one of those things that, you know, she might be crazy in a way that, I mean, I think we all know she's like, there's something wrong with her. But in a way that she could be misremembering things in a way where it's kind of pathological, where she could just be like, no, I swear this is how it happened. Could be. We don't know, but just from some of the evidence and stuff that we have, I can speculate to think that some of it seems plausible what she's saying, but just sprinkling in a couple of other things to make her be the complete victim, and that she didn't start the whole ordeal and the confrontation.
And everyone hated me.
Yep, that's true.
And
it's true.
I remember crying.
I'm sure you did.
On the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Just, more than anything, I was heartbroken. I thought maybe he was serious. I thought maybe, God, he doesn't love me. Maybe he really feels this way. It broke my heart.
I mean, we know you got your heart broken. You were hoping that he would put up with your insanity for eternity. But he was like, nah. And then when you realized it was over, you beat him up more and you took a dump on his bed.
Broke my heart. I wanted to marry him so bad. This is the man I loved, you know. Yes, it was awful at times, but I loved him and what he was saying.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Overruled. What he was saying to me hurt.
It looks like after that, it's like the objection kind of thing and it being overruled. It seemed like it gave her a little bit of like a switch to be like, oh wait, I gotta ham it up a little bit more. Because if you saw her before, like say, and the emotion that she was doing, it wasn't too over the top. A little bit of teeth, she was kind of like that. It seemed real, but now just boom, squinching is, and then she just turned it up a notch. And that's always kind of like weird. It's always a little suspect when you see that, you know, she's an actor at the end of the day. So it's a little weird to see people do that, and it's always noticeable when you see people do that in real life. You're like, what the, like, you just, you know, it's like people pretending they're sad. It's like a baby essentially. They'll be crying and whining. As soon as you give them their toy or what they want, they'll just stop, you know? And so it's like one of those things where it's like, I know I need to do this to get what I want. And that's what it kind of looks like she just did. Like, oh, turn it up. Turn it up.
Just as bad as anything else. I just remember that he left me on the closet floor, and it's embarrassing, or...
What did he do? Did he poop on you?
As embarrassing as it is to say,
Did he poop on you?
I went up to him.
And you pooped on him?
At some point, I don't know how much time had passed. He was sitting at the piano in the living room of the hotel room that we had.
Right. And then you pooped on him. Look at her.
It's so...
Look at her.
I know it may be hard to understand.
She's put it up to 11.
It's hard for me to hear myself say, but I felt...
She's hamming it up to 11.
I just wanted it to stop. I wanted things to just be okay.
What did you... Look at that. Look at this.
I just wanted it to stop. I wanted things to just be okay.
To be okay? Like, look at that. Let's go one more time.
I just wanted it to stop. I wanted things to just be okay.
Woo. Let's go.
And I just sat next to him on the piano, and I just leaned my head on his shoulder, and of course I was mad.
And you threw up on him. You threw up all over him, right? You put your fingers down your throat, and you just threw up all over him. And he's like, oh, what are you doing? How could you do that to the great Jack Sparrow? How could you throw up on me?
It's horrible what he done. But on the other hand, I just wanted us to be okay. I
mean, it is very telling. I think there's like truth. There's some truth in this. Within this, there is some truth. And what she did, and what a lot of crazy people do after they've completely raged out, they'll realize, oh crap, I did a bunch of wacky things. I'm gonna fix this by acting like nothing happened. You see it so often, and it's why a lot of people stay, because they turn off the rage and then they pretend like nothing happened, and then the people that are traumatized and victimized, then they just feed into it because they're like, peace. Like that's what it is. And then, all right, tomorrow's another day, and hopefully they won't, flip the crazy switch then. I didn't realize how much footage there was of this stuff.
You've never felt love like that. At least that's how it felt. So much. I felt like he recognized me.
Yo. Did you catch that? Go look at Johnny Depp.
So much.
Did you see that? Look at this. Look at this one more time.
So much.
Look at her face and then look at his smirk. He's like, yeah, right, bitch.
He'd lose control and everyone would clean up after him. I cleaned up after him. I mean, this man lost control of his bowels and I cleaned up after him.
I mean, it's not, it happens to some people. I wouldn't say you have to be ashamed of that. I would be infinitely more ashamed of actually not losing control of my bowels, but just taking a bowel movement on my partner's bed. I think that's, you can't come back from that one. Shitting yourself because you were too damn drunk or whatever. Yeah, a little embarrassing, right? But you can come back from it. Well, I think I've seen enough. That's, yeah, it's not looking good for her, man. I don't think there's anything she could really do to turn the tide, especially for public opinion. I think she's totally screwed. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. I want to give a big shout out to my patron, my hardest of our patrons. That's Rebecca. You're a piece of trash. Ashley, you're a bigger piece of trash. Catherine, you're the biggest piece of trash. And Jacob, I can't stand your face. If you guys want to support me, hit up the links in the description below. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Don't be like Amber Heard.